Have you ever been misunderstood while trying to do good? In 1848, revolution rumbled through the streets of Turin, while political conspiracies sparked in cafés. But to the authorities, the most dangerous revolutionary wasn't carrying weapons or planning uprisings. He was a gentle priest, playing games with street children. Today I want to show you how Don Bosco's courage in the face of suspicion can inspire you when you're misunderstood for doing what's right. The Miracles and Prophecies of St. John Bosco, a project of America Needs Fatima. I'm your host, Adrian Fonseca. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Welcome to the Miracles and Prophecies of St. John Bosco. I'm Adrian Fonseca. These videos exist to share timeless wisdom from St. John Bosco that can transform your spiritual life and inspire you to grow closer to Christ and Our Lady. When you're doing genuine good in the world, you will be misunderstood by those who don't recognize God's work. The question is, will you have the courage to continue anyway? Think about it. Have you ever faced criticism or suspicion when you're simply trying to help others? Maybe at work, in your community, or even in your family. Today's story will show you exactly how to respond when good intentions are questioned. Picture Turin in the spring of 1848. Revolution and conspiracies are on the rise, and officials watch the poor with suspicion, fearing that their hungry hands might exchange bread for building barricades. But in a patch of meadow by the citadel, St. John Bosco wages a very different kind of war. A war for children's souls. He's wise, bright-eyed, and quicker than men half his age. Each day he thanks God for two gifts: the seeds planted by his books and pamphlets, and the laughter of boys who flock to his roaming oratory, an open-air classroom filled with games, catechisms, and hope. But under his smile, a thorn pierces his gentle heart. Citizens, people of little brain, one witness notes, watch him sprint with his ragtag youth and see conspiracy brewing. "He's training pickpockets as strikers," they whisper. "He lures children from parental control." The more readily the boys responded to Don Bosco's guidance, the darker their rumors grew. The Marquis of Cavour, vicar of Turin, shares these suspicions. One misty afternoon, he noticed Don Bosco in the grass, surrounded by boys, soaking up lessons of virtue. Passing by the scene, he turns to his side. "Who is that priest cavorting with those brats?" "Don Bosco, Your Excellency." The Marquis notes the name and thinks, either a fool or a man headed for prison. Soon a summons arrives. Friends warn Don Bosco that this meeting might end in shackles. He brushes the dust off his cassock and sets out. Entering the high-ceiling office in the municipal palace, he greets the Marquis respectfully. The Marquis coldly replies, "Reverend, your gatherings disturb public order. Dismiss those scoundrels before they disgrace you and endanger the city." Don Bosco responds calmly, "Excellency, I seek only to help these children. I ask no money, only a roof to keep them from the streets, teach them the faith, and guide them toward honest trades. Thus prisons shrink, not swell." What follows is a verbal chess match. "Ha! How will you pay rent, or feed your vagabonds?" "God pays. He often makes much from little, and sometimes even from nothing." "Don't play word games with me. Understand my power. With one word, the guard will march you to the dungeon." "I am unafraid." "And why is that?" "Prison cells are for rascals. A man who jails an innocent priest would be a rascal. And you, Marquis, are incapable of such injustice." By this point, Marquis is fuming. "Your miserable oratory violates the ban on unauthorized assemblies." "My school is not a political sect. It is there to teach catechism, approved by Archbishop Fransoni." "So if the Archbishop told you to close, you would comply?" "At once. I have never made a move without his official approval." "Then I will see the Archbishop. You are spared should he side with reason. If not, expect severities. You are dismissed." Don Bosco returned to his beloved oratory, where the boys awaited him. Some polishing donated shoes, others rehearsing hymns. But now let's look closer at these oratory inhabitants to understand why they caused such fear and suspicion. It truly was a rough congregation. For instance, there's Pietro, 14, who once pickpocketed handkerchiefs along Via Garibaldi before Don Bosco taught him to set type at a printing press. And little Michel, not yet 10, who slept in a hayloft until the oratory's Sunday soup became his first consistent meal. Dozens bore prison tattoos, a crude cross on a knuckle, the date of an arrest, gouged into their skin, but their rough edges softened under Don Bosco's miraculous program of games, laughter, and grace. And for city authorities, such transformation only heightened suspicion. How could obedience be achieved without chains? How could former pickpockets recite catechism with precision unless drilled for darker purposes? Branding the priest as an agitator was easier than believing in the power of mercy. Fortunately, Don Bosco kept meticulous records, each boy's name, the trade learned, and the wages earned once apprenticed. He would later show those pages to skeptics as proof that charity saved the state money just as surely as it saved souls. A factory of honest citizens, he joked, running on faith and muddy boots. Meanwhile, the Marquis inquiry yielded little. The Archbishop's support proved unwavering and no decree was issued. While Europe convulsed in revolution, the Meadow School endured, instilling hope in boys whom the world had condemned. By centuries end, Don Bosco's Salesians would educate millions worldwide. This story has always moved me because it shows us something powerful. When you're doing God's work, opposition will come, sometimes from the very people who should understand. But here's what I realized. This story needs to reach others who are facing the same struggles. Maybe it's a teacher who's being questioned for going the extra mile with difficult students. Maybe it's a parent trying unconventional but loving approaches with their children. Or maybe it's someone in your community who's working with the homeless or the forgotten. If this story encouraged you today, would you help me get it to someone who needs to hear it? Here's how you can make a real difference. Share this video. Right now, think of one person who would benefit from Don Bosco's example of courage under suspicion. Text on this video, post it on your social media, or email it to a friend. One share could change someone's perspective when they're facing criticism for doing good. And if you've been encouraged by these stories about St. John Bosco, hit that like button to let me know that this content is helping you. Your likes help YouTube show these stories to more people who need them. Remember, every time you share content like this, you're doing what Don Bosco did, planting seeds of wisdom that can transform someone's life. Don Bosco's encounter with the Marquis reveals that genuine charity often appears threatening to those who govern through force rather than love. The saint's experience teaches us that when we're doing good work, transparency and proper authority can protect us when our motives are questioned. But most importantly, the fruits of our work ultimately speak louder than any accusation against us. Don Bosco's response to suspicion shows us the way forward. Remain calm, speak truth with respect, go through proper authority whenever possible, and let our results demonstrate our intentions. Where authorities saw potential criminals, Don Bosco saw future saints. As you face your own challenges in living out your faith, remember that sometimes doing good will make you look dangerous to those who don't understand, but truth will ultimately prevail. Before you go, click on the video appearing on your screen right now to watch St. Don Bosco face opposition from fellow priests, a prophet not welcomed. You'll discover how even good clergy sometimes oppose his methods, and how Don Bosco responded with grace and wisdom. Thank you for joining me today. St. John Bosco, pray for us. May God bless you, and Mary Immaculate keep you under her mantle. God love you.